So welcome to the City of Glendale Planning Commission meeting for November 7th. Ms. Stotler, roll call, please.
Planning Commissioners Astorian,
Here.
Charakhjian,
Here.
Lee,
Here.
Saturian, and Shabazian.
Report regarding posting of the agenda, item number 2.
The agenda for this meeting was posted on Wednesday, October 31st, 2018 on the bulletin board outside City Hall and on the city's website.
Thank you. Please rise and follow me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. So let's take item number 4 before we have our new commissioner introduced, but I don't believe we have quorum for item number 4, so I don't know, Commissioner Lee?
Yeah, we move to approve the minutes for next meeting.
Got it, sir. All right, so before we go forward, we would like to welcome the Stefan Charakhjian to the commission. He is much younger than I was when I joined the commission, and that's a plus, because then you will be a whole lot more tolerant about the stuff that we're going to be hearing as we go forward. So with that, we want to welcome you, and please do tell us a little bit about you.
Sounds good. Thank you. So my name's Stefan Charakhjian, and I'm a USC graduate with degrees in real estate development and business administration. I come from a real estate family, so I have experience in entitlements, along with project approvals and appraisals, everything basically. I currently work as a loan analyst at Marcus & Millichap Capital Corporation, and I'm also involved in Urban Land Institute's Young Leaders Group in my free time. I would like to once again thank Mayor Sinanian as well as the City Council for this appointment and for putting the trust in me to hold this position. I was born and raised in Glendale and look forward to doing my part in making the city a better place. Thank you.
Wonderful. Welcome aboard. We don't have any oral communications in item number 5. We don't have any zoning appeals. And of course, we don't have any planning commission items going to number 7. Correct, Ms. Stotler? And it is my understanding that under new business, item number 1 is going to be continued or is off calendar?
It needs to be continued off calendar. It was
Okay,
continued
to
to
a
this date is uncertain.
Okay, very good. So with that, let's go to item number 2, which involves 2608 and 2612 Honolulu Avenue, and I believe this is a tentative track map?
Correct.
Okay, Kristen, we will be listening to you.
Sure. Yes. This project proposal is a 2- and 3-story, 28-unit multifamily development condominium project. It's on approximately an acre of land located in the C2 PPD and the R1 PPD zone. This project was approved with a precise plan of design and a zone change to place a PPD overlay on the property by City Council in August of 2016. This PPD approval is good for 2 years unless an extension is granted. In August of this year, a 1-year time extension was granted, making the approval good through August of 2019. Tonight's application is for a tentative track map, and it is for the Planning Commission to decide whether these 28 units are to be for homeownership or to remain as rentals. And I'm going to go through a little bit about the background of what a PPD is, the relationship of this project with the North Glendale Community Plan, and how these findings support the approval of the tentative track map tonight. So a little background and history of precise plan of design. It is a tool to allow flexibility in zoning regulations where development proposals take advantage of things like the site characteristics, the site location, and access points to achieve a superior design or function in ways expressing the intent and providing the protections of the existing zoning designation. The PPD overlay allowed the project proposal flexibility in zoning regulations for the C2 and the R1 zones, and there are a number of ways in which the project plans vary from the constraints of the zoning code. And these largely have to do with the difficulty of constructing multifamily projects when the code requires that residential developments located on commercial streets and in mixed-use settings and having to apply the regulations of the R-1250 or the multifamily zoning regulations to those zones. Additionally, the project site features changes in topography and abuts two street frontages with different characteristics. So the flexibility and standards that were granted by council as part of the PPD zone change were for residential density, floor area ratio, height, lot coverage, setbacks, and landscaping. So how does this now relate to the North Glendale Community Plan? The project sits within the Verdugo City Residential Neighborhoods designation of the North Glendale Community Plan. The vision of this designation is a mix of single and multifamily homes, with the majority of multifamily homes located closer to public transportation and commercial activities. The single and multifamily neighborhoods of this area are characterized by existing low-density residential character and by some well-designed multifamily buildings and mature landscaping. But this area will allow for new multifamily development that respects the scale of the neighborhood and provides a transition in mass and scale to the adjacent single-family dwellings. New multifamily residential development is encouraged in the Verdugo City residential neighborhood area to complement the existing mix of low-density residential neighborhoods and commercial districts by the community plan. And the PPD overlay permits the project while ensuring consistency with the city's goals, policies, and design guidelines in a manner that meets the overall intent and goals of the zoning code. So for a little context about the project, the neighboring property, it's up on the screen as well as the plans behind you, show that the neighboring property to the east features a one-story auto body use. Properties on the west include a multi-tenant commercial building that fronts the lot on Honolulu, as well as a 2- and 3-story senior multifamily residential building on the adjacent through lot. The site slopes downward from west to east along Honolulu Avenue by almost 3 feet, and also north to south from Honolulu to Sycamore Avenue with over a 10-foot drop. Overall, the site plan of the project is appropriate for the subject site. The project addresses Honolulu and Sycamore Avenue with an 8-foot and 20-foot setback, respectively. These street setbacks are significantly exceed the setbacks on the adjacent properties along both Honolulu and Sycamore Avenues. The project's mass and scale comply with the North Glendale Community Plan by minimizing the mass of new buildings along Sycamore Avenue, which is a residential street, and having the larger mass of the buildings shifted onto Honolulu to the north, which is a commercial street. Vehicular access to the garage will be from Sycamore Street on the easterly side of the property, closer to Rosemont Avenue. The primary pedestrian access to the interior courtyards will be from Sycamore Avenue, though there will be pedestrian access points along Honolulu Avenue through a central entryway between the buildings and along the interior side property lines. This project satisfies the North Glendale Community Plan vision of Verdugo City by tailoring a design that respects the scale of the commercial and residential character of the neighborhood while providing a transition in mass and scale of the project over the entire site as it slopes south to the single-family neighborhood. The project has 67 parking spaces, including 7 guest spaces. The project meets the minimum parking requirement identified in the code for 2- and 3-bedroom multifamily residential uses. Common open space and landscape open space areas are provided throughout the property, the majority of that area being located in the courtyard fronting Sycamore Avenue, but there are other smaller areas located in between the buildings as well. Additionally, each residential unit also has a private balcony or patio. The housing goals of the North Glendale Community Plan include providing a wide range of housing types to meet the needs of current and future residents with increased home ownership opportunities and contributing to high-quality residential neighborhoods that are attractive and well-designed. This project demonstrates that it is consistent with these goals and that it offers additional housing types for home ownership, again, consisting of 2- and 3-bedroom units ranging from about 1,100 square feet to 1,600 square feet in size, and is located near existing services. This project was evaluated pursuant to CEQA, the California Environmental Quality Act. A negative declaration was prepared and adopted by City Council back in August of 2016. This project conforms to the city's goals for development in the neighborhood and is consistent with the general plan elements as outlined in the tables in the staff report, Therefore, staff recommends that the Planning Commission approve the tentative track map 82293 with the findings and conditions attached in the motion. I'm available for any questions.
Any questions?
Have you looked at this email from Mr. Wolfgang Kraus? You know, the project proposes 28 dwelling units, where only 25 or 26 will be allowed under the most favorable interpretation. So what is your response to that?
The council considered that when they approved the PPD zone change back in 2016.
Okay, so that was addressed.
Correct.
Okay. Thank you.
Any other questions? Do we have an applicant here that wants to speak to this, or?
I will turn my attention to the audience and see if anybody would like to speak from the applicant side.
I would like to compel you to come and speak.
Well, I had my card filled out, but I was waiting for the whole thing to come. Good afternoon. My name is Mike Mardirosian. I'm the civil engineer preparing this track map. Before I start, I would like to welcome Mr. Schwarzer to this board. We worked together with your father for many years, so welcome. This project is it's a 28 new condominium project. It's been approved by council and planning
Microphone.
commission back in 2016.
Mr. Martirosyan, you need to start again.
Okay. Can you try speaking again into the
I
mic's
don't know,
on?
it's not working, I don't know why.
The system is on. And now we're flipping a bunch of other.
Yeah,
Oh,
now
there
it's
we go.
working.
Okay,
Oh,
try again.
hold on.
Thank you.
All over again.
Thank you for the.
Good afternoon. My name is, if I remember, my name is Haik Mardirosian. I'm the tract engineer. My address is 1545 North Verdugo Road, Glendale. Before I start, I would like to welcome Mr. Trochchian to this board. This is a new project, 28 units condominium, which was approved by council, recommended by planning commission to council, and council approved it for apartment uses. Now at this time we are filing an application to use this apartment project into the condominium. This is a 28 units, and the uniqueness of this project is it consists of 4 lots, and the characteristics of the lots are so much that at one point from one end to another end we have 10 feet of drops. So that creates a design to have a 2-story and 3-story from both sides of the streets. 2-story from side of the Sycamore and 3-story from Honolulu, which is built, actually 2-story built over the parking. That's what makes it 2 and 3-story. The units are 2 and 3 bedroom. There are 20 2-bedroom units and 8 3-bedroom units. There is 67 parking spaces provided for tenants and guests, and there are bicycle spaces provided as well per the new code. We meet most of all the conditions which staff is recommending, and we will comply with all of them. And I don't see any other condition that we cannot be complied with. And at this time, we would like to have your blessing so we can go forward with this project. If you have any question, I'd be more than happy to answer.
Any questions for Ms. Martirosyan? None. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
I will go to Mr. Grant Michaels.
Good evening, Commissioners. My name is Grant Michaels. I'm the president of the Montrose Verdugo City Spar Heights Neighborhood Association. We have been involved in this project from its inception when the developer reached out to us to facilitate outreach into the community. That became a series of community meetings where input was taken in and this plan was developed and changed over time. Our board, at the time that this was approved, believed this project was an appropriate compromise. That position hasn't changed. looking at a project with the complex zoning where 3 stories could be built in the commercial zoning to have a project that is contiguous, 2 stories, has a residential character, even though some aspects are not accepted by those who may be close neighbors or there is some opposition. We believe this is an appropriate compromise to development on this site. That position has not changed. We do support the tract map in having this be ownership housing. We believe that will be of benefit to the neighborhood. And I would like to go ahead and again thank Art Simonian for reaching out to the community at the very start of this project, involving them and hearing from the community and responding to those changes. Hopefully other developers will follow that lead. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Unless we are going to go to deliberation, I can close the public hearing end of it before we do that, unless you have any questions for the staff.
There's a card at the front if you want to speak.
No, ma'am, let's do this. Why don't you introduce yourself and tell us, what you're here to speak
Okay.
at? It's about the project, correct?
Yes.
And then you can
And
fill out a
then you
card
can
with-
fill out a card for us.
My name's Jill Suarez. I live near the project, so I just have a couple of questions. When you're saying condos and apartments, is it going to be condos for homeowners or is it apartments? It's 2 different things. And that's part of I'm confused about what this project really is. Is it condos that will be purchased by homeowners or is it apartments?
So let me perhaps help you out with defining this. When you file a tentative map to subdivide it, that means you have the opportunity and or the possibility of selling each unit as a condominium residence, not necessarily the obligation to. So in other words, you could have condos and they could be rental, right?
Okay.
Does that answer your question?
Yes. Yeah, I was hoping that this was a condo development and
Well,
that
it
we
is
weren't.
after, if and when.
Okay. If and when that happens. Okay.
If and when this tract map is approved, then it becomes a condo map, and basically the tract map says that it's a condo project.
Okay. The other question is, where are the cars coming in and out of to access? Is it coming on Sycamore or will it be Honolulu?
It's my understanding, but it's Sycamore, but we will have the architect speak to that. Do you have any other questions?
Well, because there'll be a lot of traffic going on that little street.
And all of those have already been visited, those points, by the city council, by this commission at the time when this whole thing started. But let me extend the courtesy to you and have the architect explain what the egress and egress is.
Okay,
All right?
sure.
Thank you, ma'am. Mr. Martirosyan.
Yes, once again,
Yeah,
thank you. Our parking garage is located on the side of the Sycamore Street. So all the egresses and ingresses is going to come through the Rosemont and through the Sycamore into the garage. There is no driveway openings or anything through the Honolulu Avenue, just the pedestrians, they can walk through the Honolulu. But main parking structure is accessing through the Sycamore.
And if I remember correctly, you also had a traffic study done on it. And I remember, because we spoke to that at some length when this project came in front of us. And the implication from the study was that really it's not nothing that cannot be mitigated and or there are no major issues. So there was a traffic study done, is my understanding.
I'm sure, I haven't seen it, but I just came later on the board, so I'm not familiar if they have
Ms.
it.
Kristen, do we have,
That is correct.
Okay.
And the neg deck that was included as part of that.
do you have that with you? Is it attached to
The
our-
neg deck is attached to your report.
May I make a suggestion that at the end of the meeting, to make a copy of that, or at least one of the copies that you have, to provide it to Ms. Flores, so she would know exactly what we talked about.
Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Martin, I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Unless there is any other person that wants to speak to the issue, I will close the public hearing side of it, and we'll start deliberation. Gentlemen, you have the deck.
on the project. I support it. I have no more questions.
Very good. Then why don't you make a motion?
Well, that's,
I'm a fan of the project. I don't see any issue with it, so.
okay, I move that upon consideration of tentative track number 82293, and after reviewing the record files reports,
All over again, please.
I move that upon consideration of tentative track number 82293, and after reviewing the records, files, reports, and all documentary evidence submitted with regard to said tentative track, in addition to the negative declaration adopted by City Council on August 23rd, 2016, that tentative track number 82293 is hereby approved, subject to compliance with the State Subdivision Map Act, Chapters 16.16 and 16.32 of Title 16 of the Glendale Municipal Code, Title 30 of the Glendale Municipal Code, and the 42 additional conditions listed below. And the Planning Commission hereby makes each and all of the following findings of fact. And those are all the A through J's and 1 through 42, I guess.
The conditions.
Conditions.
I'll second the motion.
Very good, Ms. Shanaz. We got a motion, the second. Roll call, please.
Planning Commissioners Jerakjian,
Yes.
Lee,
Aye.
Chairperson Astorian.
Yes. All right, so the tentative track map is approved as of this moment. Item number 8 has to do with Community Development Department updates. Do we have any?
Yes, we do have an update. A couple of months ago, you saw the South Glendale Community Plan. It came before you for recommendation. There was an approval, at least a partial approval, and also from the City Council. They certified the environmental impact report. They approved a lot line adjustment on actually a zone change and a general plan amendment on 6 of the lots. And they also gave direction to staff to make revisions to the community plan itself in the return. And after that, there was an appeal made of the decision. And so right now, we're working on, or actually, there was a lawsuit filed, so now we're working on that. So I'm just letting you know that you will not be seeing, as we envisioned originally, we thought we would be coming back pretty shortly with modifications to the South Glendale Community Plan. Instead, that's been delayed.
Because of
Because of the lawsuit.
an inconvenience, right? It's a lawsuit.
It's a lawsuit.
It is inconvenient.
Yes.
I'm not embellishing the circumstances. All right, very good. Item number 9, comments from commissioners.
Well, I'd like to welcome Commissioner Chirakshian to Commission. I was, when I joined the board, I was like you, very young. And I'd like to commend our Mayor Sinanian for overlooking, he's a Bruin, but for him to be able to appoint Trojan on this position, I'd like to commend him. It's a great move. Go Trojans. Thank you.
Very good. So lastly, somebody to move for adjournment.
So moved.
We're adjourned.